I guess we should just go ahead and start. Just how are you doing? You've been rehabbing that UCL for a couple months now. So how's that going for you?
Yeah, so everything's going really well. I was really fortunate. UCF has supported me so much ever since I got there, and the UCL was obviously very unfortunate, but uh, body feels great, out of the cast, out of the brace, and got full range of motion back. So that's great, and feeling really good, feeling strong, and starting to get in the gym again, and excited to keep the progress going.
So, Cole, what has this been like for you? Did you expect to get drafted? Like, take us through this process leading into this draft, and then that moment where you find your name gets called there, and you're part of the Houston Astros in the 8th round.
Yeah. So it was. It's been quite the journey. Quite the little bit of a roller coaster here the past 4 months, and so was really excited about the year I was having, and it was going really well, and was really excited. And the unfortunate thing happened with my injury, and it kind of went, wow, like what now? What's going to happen? And a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns, and kind of there was a thought, I could get drafted. I could get drafted later. Like there was really no certain answer. So leading into the draft, there was a little bit of expectation, but there was not a set expectation. So when I got my name called and I was with my family, man, it was so exciting. It was, it's a dream come true, but it's the first step of many that I want to take to become a Major League Baseball player. So this is just the start.
How many teams did you get to talk to leading into the process? Did you get a sense of things, what people thought of you? And what did the Astros tell you once they drafted you?
Yeah. So leading into the process after I got hurt, there was a good amount of teams that reached out, and really I appreciate the fact they reached out and just said, "Hey man, we're sorry to hear about your injury." And that was kind of the first part, and then to go on from there, it was some interest with a handful of teams, and then when I got the call on draft day that the Astros were going to take me the next couple of picks, it was, we're so happy to have you. We're excited to get you in here, get you healthy, and get to work. And I was so happy that, they got me, and I'm so happy to be here and get better and get healthy with them.
So you were one of 3 UCF players to get drafted in the draft. What was just your reaction to Crouch and Sinclair being drafted, especially since you've been on the same starting rotation with Sinclair?
Expected. I know that might be very blunt and simple, but man, Jackson Sinclair and Crouch, they're so special in their own right. I mean, Jackson Sinclair, that kid's unbelievable. He's such a good athlete, and the ability he has to throw as hard as he does so effortlessly is, he's going to go far in this game as well. He's just getting started. And Crouch, on the other hand, he's probably one of the best defensive catchers that's ever caught me in my whole life, if not the best one. So again, they got so much potential, and it's just the beginning. So we're all really excited.
What was Coach Lovelady was excited on social media, and he even told us after the conference championship game, he expected you to be drafted in the first 10 rounds, which we were like, whoa. So he clearly had confidence that this would end up working out for you. What was the interaction with Coach Lovelady after that, and what does that say that he had the confidence in you even with the setback?
Yeah, it feels great that he had the confidence in me about that, and then and he's had that since like that confidence instilled in me since I got there, and that's part of why I loved being there is the sense of like, man, go get it today, go take the ball, like let's go, like we're gonna kind of ride or die with you, and having that support from the coaching staff and him and Coach Adi, and even the strength room coach Jeremy Fraid, and the people, the list goes on and on about the what makes the program what it is, but the confidence starts with Coach Lovelady, but also trickles down to everybody else that was there. So, it was so exciting, and it was awesome to share that moment with him as well.
So what's the next steps for you and the Astros? Or what have they told you? What's the next steps for you? What do you have to do now? Because obviously you still are kind of rehabbing. How is, from your injury and all that. So what's the process going to be like here now moving forward?
So, yeah. So now I'm actually in Palm Beach right now. I'm down here, which is where their spring training is. And I'll be here probably until the end of the year almost. Then they're going to take over my rehab where I left off, basically. And that's, getting in the weight room and starting to, build back up my strength and get stronger than I ever have been. And then here in a couple months, start throwing in my throwing program, and then build back up into going to spring training next year. Hopefully start to get off the mound a little bit and just continue that process back to being, even better than I was before. So
how do you think that having your injury impacted your draft stock? Coach Lovelady said in the same press conference where he said you would go in the first 10 rounds, he said like even your injury caused you to go from like a 6th round pick to somewhere between 6 and 10. So how did your injury impact your draft stock from your point of view?
I really don't know. And that goes back to part of, like not knowing what to expect in the draft. I'm sure it didn't help with some teams. I'm sure with other teams it was less of a factor. Look, I'm going to work my tail off down here and get stronger and get better. And the surgery was a very successful surgery, and I know that I'm going to be back better. So, that's kind of been the mindset ever since it happened. And as far as how the draft turned out, I'm just happy to be a Houston Astros and be down here with such a great organization.
Now flashing back a little bit because your torn UCL ended up coming up right before the regular season East Carolina series, but in the the preview that was put on the UCF Athletics website before, you were penciled in to start. So one can assume that the injury occurred very shortly before that series, and we never really got any word about how that happened. Are you able to take us through like what exactly happened that day, when it happened, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so there's no real exact time that happened. I'm pretty sure it happened during my last start, during that USF game, and then that next week it was just that next day I threw and I knew something was going on and wasn't quite sure what that was, and that next week was just a grind in the training room, recovery, doing everything I could to try to pitch again. Even if it wasn't going to be that Friday, that weekend at ECU. And when I knew that wasn't going to happen, I probably found that out. I found that out pre-game on Friday that wasn't going to happen that weekend. And then that next week I got the MRI and went from there. And I found out the news, and then kind of the views on everything kind of changed, and was like, okay, if this is what it is, this sucks. It's and beyond it sucking for me, it sucks for the team. Like this past year, our team, we had the year we had, but our expectation was to kind of shock the world. I mean, look, our program's on the up and up, and the guys we had in that locker room, man, we had the opportunity to do something unbelievable. And part of what was so unfortunate was obviously me getting hurt and us not being able to do, the goals we set out to do. But, they're going to be headed in the right direction for years to come for sure. So that's really exciting.
Now, you had the injury, but you stayed with the team, and other guys even talked about how you were still supportive of them. You were in the dugout. You talk about that mindset, because obviously that's a brutal news to get. It could have been easy to just say, man, woe is me, and just kind of, separate yourself from the team. But you didn't do that. You helped the other guys. You were still supportive. Just take me through that process and how you helped the guys, because they talked about they helped you, guys like Patterson and others. They talked about how you helped them through the rest of the year and into that conference tournament run.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I take pride in being one of the leaders on that team, but more importantly, like we got after it every day with those guys, and like I didn't want to go anywhere. I mean, that's where I wanted to be. Like those guys, not only are they, good people, they're fun. Like they grind, like they get after it. Hunter Patterson's a guy that goes in every day and finds a way to get better. And like, it's fun to do that. Like if you're around a bunch of guys that are pulling in the same direction, it makes it easy. And that's what I want to be as a person too. I want to be, the guy that not only hopefully leads the team on the field, right, and winning, but also off the field, kind of leading by example. And that's just one way that I try to do that and be around. And again, there was no other place I'd rather be than out there kind of cheering those guys on and being in that atmosphere.
So being in that position, being around everybody in the dugout for the second half of the season, obviously with you leaving in the MLB draft and AJ Jones graduating, that leaves some spots open in the pitching rotation. So from your point of view, who are the young pitchers, because there are a lot of young pitchers on the team, who's really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, Patterson will take some lead next year and take over a lot of responsibilities. But man, the freshmen we had this past year, and I know there's freshmen coming in, there'll be some new faces on the team, I'm sure. But I mean, Patterson will take a lot of responsibilities. Ben Vespi is a guy that's going to be unbelievable. Nick Vieira is going to continue to grow. Zach Bennett. I think even Zach Hunsinger is a guy that's been there a while. Will definitely get some more responsibilities. And again, like UCF has a bright future. Like it's, you just can't argue with the coaching staff and the support staff around them. Like they go in every day and find a way to get you better. And you're in a place that is constantly like moving forward and finding ways to get everybody involved and progress in a positive way. So they're on the up and up, no matter what way you look at it. So it's exciting.
So you mentioned Hunter Patterson, and he started out the season and had a little bit of a stumble. Went to the bullpen, ended up regaining his stuff there, and then after you get hurt, or a couple weeks after you get hurt, he comes back into the rotation and takes over your game one slot. What was it like watching Patterson go through what he's gone through this season?
Yeah, it's great for him. Look, like baseball's so hard. It's so tough, and not every day you're gonna have a great day. But I think part of what was so cool to watch about him was kind of when the reliever role. I think learned a lot about himself. Made some adjustments on the mound, and then was able to come back out at the end of the year and show those adjustments he made. Even maybe some maturity, some growing that he had to do throughout the year. And I think he knows, as long as everybody else knows, the expectations for him to go out there and continue to do that this year. And it's exciting. I mean, it's awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him out there again this upcoming year.
Let's talk about your career at UCF, because you had a heck of a run. The two starts I think a lot of Knights fans will remember is your start at Auburn, where you kind of helped start them sweeping Auburn in 2020, and obviously the great year that you were having in 2020. And then this past year at Ole Miss, they were number one at the time, and you get the win, and that helped win the series 2 out of 3. When you think back to your career at UCF, what pops into your mind? Is it those two starts in particular?
Yeah, it's so much. I mean, listen, those two starts were awesome, and absolutely they'll be in there without a doubt. But it's stuff off the field. It's being with the guys off the field, being with the guys on the field, and being able to if those two starts is a way to push the program forward and kind of leave a mark. Yeah, absolutely. And it was a blast, and it was so exciting. But what I'll remember most is just the guys that I was with, and kind of again the way we pushed each other to get better, but also to push the program to be in a more prominent spot. So that's what's really exciting about it.
So speaking of Eric's mentioning last season, you ended, even though your season ended weeks early for you because of the injury, you actually led the team in strikeouts with 72, with the only player even within 10 of that is Hunter Patterson. What was it, even though you didn't exactly know at the time it was your last game at USF, what was it like to pitch this season, putting up numbers like that?
Yeah, it was exciting. It's what you want to do. It's what you work for. It's the pitching coach, Nick Adi, Coach Adi, helped tremendously. Helped me grow as a pitcher there, as a person on and off the mound. And again, it's what you work for. It's what you put in the time for every day, is to be able to go out and lead the team on the field like that, and hopefully win a lot of games. And it's exciting that a lot of those young guys are going to have more responsibilities this upcoming year, and to see them take that over as well.
What got you to come to UCF? And I remember Coach Lovelady and media availabilities from the day you walked in. He had the confidence in you right from day one. So you clearly must have hit a bond there. But take us through your journey, how you ended up at UCF.
Yeah, so I was at Hillsborough Community College. I went to Florida out of high school. I went to junior college, and then UCF ended up being a spot where it was perfect for me. It was a place that I knew that if I went in and I worked hard every day, I could pitch and have the role potentially that I had, as long as I went in there and with an open mind learned and got better. And then from there, just grew a bond with the coaching staff, the players, and it was just getting better every day. And I think that paid off in so many aspects. And I know it's really as simple as that. It's just, making a lot of friends with the people you're around and memories, but also just finding a way to get better every day. That was kind of the goal, whether it was something really little or something really big. It was something every day to push forward, whether it was myself, the team, a group of guys. It was always, how do we get better today? How do we, figure this out? So that's how I ended up there. So when I left Hillsborough, was that kind of mantra that I just spoke about was kind of told to me, kind of sold to me, and that was something I wanted to be around. I wanted to be around a place where, man, you should come in and work on different things mechanically, pitching, throwing, whatever it was with baseball, and to be able to do that and grind and have a coaching staff that was willing to work with you nonstop was, obviously someplace I wanted to be. And being close to home as well was a huge factor. But those were the main reasons.
Colton, you also are leading behind a team who is also having a little bit of holes to fill offensively now, with Jordan Rathbone graduating and of course Josh Crouch going in the MLB draft. Like I asked before, when I asked who stuck out with the pitchers, pitchers, who sticks out to you offensively or in the field?
Yeah, so in the field offensively, Alex Freeland, again, he's unbelievable. That kid's roommates who are going to still be there. Look, Nick Romano and Tom Dawson are they're gonna come back and have a really special year and be a kind of a veteran presence in the lineup, which is super exciting and much needed. And I think there's going to be guys that stand out too, some new faces, like I said before, on the mound. Same thing in the lineup. There's going to be some new guys that step up, and that's really exciting as well. So, they're moving in the right direction, and they're going to have a great year next year.
Yeah, Freeland's kind of a freak. I mean, for what he accomplished just in his first year. I mean, what was it like, having him behind you there? Were you even blown away from what he can do, considering his young age?
Yes, absolutely, but no, because you're able to see it every day. And that's kind of the cool part about it, is you kind of, after you see it every day for a while, you're like, all right, like, that's unbelievable, but like, let's do it. Like, that's awesome. And it also sets an expectation for him and the guys around him. Look, you're really good. That's awesome. But every day, like, that's what you got to be. So, it was really impressive, super proud of him. And he knows he's got a bright future and a long way to go. So it'll be exciting to see what he brings to the table in the next couple of years.
Couple last questions before we let you go. Have you reached out to like a Hankinson or Trevor Holloway, or just or anybody else that's probably already up in the, kind of what's it like in pro ball? What should I look forward to type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. And it was cool because I got to talk to them a little bit during the year as well, even before this process kind of happened, and, checking in on them and seeing, what's going on, like where they've been up to. It's like you're saying, the experiences they've had. And so they've given me a little insight. So that's super cool, and definitely helped a lot, coming down here this past couple of weeks.
I know you mentioned that, we talked earlier about the Auburn and the Ole Miss game. If I forced you to pick one of those two which one do you like better? Which one's your preference there? Or do you have, unless you want to go off the board?
I don't know. I like both. I like both. I like the fact that we won. Like, I like the fact that we swept Auburn, but I like the fact that we won both of those series. And I was glad I was able to set the tone, and that's what I want going forward, is guys be able to set the tone. And look, we can compete with anybody. We're really good, like top to bottom. And And man, it was exciting to be able to do that. But there were so many starts that I remember that were just good days and really fun. So.
Well, a lot of Knight fans are going to remember you when we look back years from now and your name comes up on campus. What do you want people to say about you as your legacy at UCF?
Man, it's a great question. I want to be, my legacy at UCF, I want it to be a couple things. I want to be a great pitcher. I want to be, a great person, a great teammate, but a great leader as well. Someone that took the program and hopefully left my mark is what we talk about all the time, leaving your mark on leaving a legacy. So something along those lines, but also a great pitcher, a great leader, but a guy that was a team guy. Like I've always been a team guy, and that's kind of my thing. I love it. I love competing with guys and getting after it and a winner, like a winner. And that's kind of it, like a winner, team guy, and just getting after it every day, a hard worker. Like every day I showed up, my goal was to find a way to get better, even if it was something little, just again, keep pushing forward. So that's what I want to leave behind.
Well, you left a lot of great memories. A lot of Knight fans really enjoyed watching you, and we were excited when we saw your name get called up in the big leagues there and the Astros, and we're going to be following you closely, man. Congrats on that. Wish you the best of luck, and appreciate you taking time from the busy schedule, but congrats, man.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me as well. Appreciate it.